Hello, everybody. My name is James. I guess I should start by simply telling you a brief history of myself. I was born out of wedlock to a woman that had an affair with a sheriff in a state and cheated on her husband, and that's how I came to be. I was born of sin into a world of sin. Uh, I wasn't raised in churches or church doctrines. My stepfather, the only man I knew, is my dad. Excuse me, was a very belligerent, cruel individual. So cruel, in fact, at 7, 8, 9 years old, just a child, I prayed to God to end my life. Let me die. Hadn't done anything to deserve this, and it uh, it got worse from there. Um, to my knowledge, I never got a response. I knew nothing of what Jesus was supposed to look like. I had no clue who God was. I didn't know anything about the church and da 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 da. I tried and things occurred. But here's the thing. I said, fuck it. I'm going to live my life the way I want to live, the way I think I should live. I'm going to be good to everybody that I can, and just when we die, we die. That's it. That's all. I became a very disbelieving person, to put it mildly. Um, I say yes, sir. I say no, sir. I say yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. May I? Thank you, and please. And people don't get it, and I do. That's not the world we live in. Those values are not taught. Anyway, I went through my life, and apparently I broke every sin there is, um, and I just thought the only regrets you have in life are the things you didn't do. Um, you know, at 50, I am currently 53, fixing to be 54. At the age of 50, I guess from 49 to 50, I got a blood disease, and or a blood infection, excuse me, that they couldn't figure out. I finally went to the hospital in May, and it lasted through June, and I was just sick. I just didn't. It wasn't that I hurt or anything. I just didn't feel good. I mean, I didn't have any energy. I couldn't walk 2 steps without huffing and puffing and everything. And it got really bad one day in the hospital. They hooked me up to an IV machine that had 2 bags on every arm, and there was 4 arms, and they were pumping stuff into me, and it just wasn't working. It really wasn't. There was a nun that came in to drain my bag for my catheter every day, and she was always sweet and kind. She didn't speak much English, but she went away, and I called a priest in, and I just had a conversation with him. You know, I said, "Look, I've got a crisis of faith. I mean, I've never seen God. I've never heard God. I've never heard Jesus. I've never seen Jesus. You know, how do you know this is real? How do you know that God is real?" And he says, "Because I have faith." And that was a BS answer to me. It really was, because there was none. I had asked with everything that I am to be taken out of this world, for the pain to stop, for the beatings to stop, and the abuse. And I got nothing, you know. There was one night that a face appeared, well, about a foot above my head as I was laying in bed. And there was tears running down the eyes. But to me, my father always watched westerns. To me, it looked like an Indian, and he was crying. And I mean, it scared scared the crap out of me. I went and told my mom and dad, and they said, no, it was just a dream. So I decided, well, that's the end of dreaming for me, and I shut it down. But anyway, I had this talk with him, and I was like, no, piss on it. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die. That's all there is to it. I'll be done with this life. And sure enough, a day and a half later, they left me alone for about, my best guess is about 45 minutes to an hour. It was about an hour, and I was gone apparently about 45 minutes. Now, everybody calls it a near-death experience. No, I was here, and then I was wherever I was. There wasn't no near-death. I didn't see my body. No. There wasn't no golden path. There wasn't the golden city with the streets lined with silver, any of that crap. There wasn't no heaven. There wasn't no hell. There wasn't no devil. There wasn't no angels. Nothing. I was just wherever I was. I didn't hurt. There was no pain. I was the most comfortable I'd ever been in my entire life. And I was like, I'm good. I can stay here forever. I'm great. And from behind me, and all I can say is when you hear the Lord's voice, God's voice, you know for an absolute fact who it is. It wasn't thunder on the mountain and all consuming and all that. It was just a simple 4 words. You ain't done yet. And before I could argue, I was back here in my body. And I healed up and went home, and I was at home. And I was laying in bed. Every night at 3:33 a.m., I get woke up. Plane, train, car, cat, dog, owl, squirrel, possum, whatever. I was going to wake up. And it was always this sense of urgency when I woke up. And I was like, I don't get this. Now, I'm a factual person. You either are or you're not. It either is or it isn't. If you were my best friend for life, and somebody I just met, and you both told me it was raining outside at different times, I was going to turn and look, because I knew for a fact it wasn't if you were going to lie to me, it was when. And that's just as simple as it gets. Well, this all started, and it aggravated the devil out of me to be kind. I'm trying real hard not to cuss and swear. And I was like, what is it? What is it? And I'd always, there was something, but it was just out of reach. And then one morning, I woke up at 3:33 a.m. and it dawned on me. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it dawned on me. But God wouldn't say ain't. And I said, I got you. I woke up, I sat up in the dark, in the house, by myself. I said, I got you. And in response, I heard, you got what? You got me? How? I'm like, God wouldn't say ain't. And at that point I heard, I can speak however I wish. I spoke to you in a way that I knew would get your attention. So you're God. Yes. Oh, crap. My cheese done slipped off the cracker and landed face down. Oh, I'm losing it. Why? Because you were able to hear me? You're finally paying attention? I taught you how to hear me? Well, people don't talk to God. They pray to God. They kneel before God, but nobody's sure God exists. And now I'm hearing voices. They're going to put me in a rubber room, give me some I love you medicine, and wrap me up in I love myself jacket. No, they're not. I got you. And it stopped. That's all I heard. I was like, crap. I was asleep. I couldn't tell you how I fell asleep, because my mind was going 10,000 miles an hour, as you can imagine. And, okay, Well, I started getting, and I don't know how to describe it. It's not so much words, it's not impression. It's there, it's in my mind, but I kept getting the innocent. You're unique. You're the innocent. You're unique. Have you not seen my damn life? Pardon me. Have you not seen my life? Did you not see me down in New Orleans? Innocent is not one of the words I would use to describe me. And and as far as unique, we're all unique. I'm like, yeah, that's crap. What the hell does this mean? So I went searching. I went to on the internet, and I went here and there, and psychics and mystics and just everywhere looking for answers. And I would tell my story, and nobody had a damn clue. Nobody had an answer. One day, there's a lady named Terry Corson I met. Went to a local stone shop. They have, different quartz crystals and this and that and witchy stuff. And I picked up cards, and I couldn't tell you why, but I picked up about 4 of them. And I was sitting at home a few days later, and I was told to start calling. And I was supposed to say, you were expecting me to call. Who the hell was expecting me to call? I had no clue. Well, I got to calling and everything, and I set it to the first one and click, hang up. Set it to the second one, click, hang up. Third one, she said hello, and I said, yes, I was told to call you, and I was told to tell you you were expecting my call. I expected, click, hang up. She goes, I didn't know who, but yeah, I've been waiting for you to call. And I'm like, okay, so you know more about this shit than I do. Sorry, stuff than I do. And she laughed, and she goes, just woke up, huh? And I said, that's not what I would call it. And I gave her what I've given you, and a lot more detail. And she was like, well, you're the messenger. You're running up and down the mountain. You're delivering messages. That's what I'm supposed to tell you. And I'm like, that can't be it. Why would God send me back to be a messenger for him to these people? I mean, if I was God, I would use a priest. I'd use the Pope. I'd use a minister. Anybody, dude. I was, and I am not now, but I was the disbeliever, the true disbeliever. I didn't believe in anything, and I went on for the past 3 years trying to figure this out: the innocent, the unique. I'd get told to talk to people, and I would go talk to them, and they got the messages they needed. And I got still one night, and it was still bothering me, but whatever, I'm not going to focus on that anymore. And when I did, I got this. The reason that I'm unique is the fact that I didn't go to Jesus. I didn't go to God. I didn't go to the Holy Spirit. I passed, and God came to me. That's what makes me unique in this day and time. As far as the innocent, it's because I wasn't steeped in church and religion and everything. I knew nothing about it. And, I started having dreams during this time that I haven't told you about, or visions, or whatever the heck, whatever they are. And it was fires. It was volcanoes. It was earthquakes. It was, I mean, and then it was about horns or trumpets, and I was like, I really don't understand this, but I've got other friends. Ed out in California, and it seems that the year before all this happened to me, and I'm saying this happened 4 years ago now, that the trumpets sounded around the world, and the churches knew what it was. They when they heard it, they understood it, but they did nothing. They said nothing to their people, and I don't know. It's out of the Bible, and all this has come to happen: the volcanoes, the fires, the earthquakes, and now the sickness that has swept globally. And that means, in the way that I understand this, or I've been made to understand this from God, is that in 2 years, the trumpets are going to sound again, and another seal is going to be broken, and it's going to be much worse than what this is. And this is the reason I've made this. I hope anybody seeing this or whatever, you're more than welcome to contact me. I don't care. I love everybody like I love cheesecake, and ain't nothing better to me. But I mean, we are truly living in the end days of civilization as we know it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But I hope this has helped some of you. And if I can help any of you, please look me up. I have a Facebook page. I look forward to communicating with y'all, and I was made to make this, so here it is. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Bye.